I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I am here. I didn't just make that up. Those are words from A Course in Miracles. They're very powerful. I'm going to ask you to repeat them after me. Even if you're not sure you want to, just try it. I am the light of the world.
I am the light of the world.
That is my only function.
That is my only function.
That is why I am here.
That is why I am here.
Okay, moment of truth. Word or two, how'd you feel as you were saying that?
Freedom.
Freedom, good.
Happy.
Happy?
Powerful.
Powerful.
Confident.
Confident.
Responsible.
Responsible.
Relieved.
What?
Relieved.
Relief. Love it.
At peace.
At peace. At peace.
Focused.
Focused.
Helpful.
Helpful.
Yes.
Awareness.
What? Awareness. Okay, the rest of you that haven't said anything, how do you feel?
Skeptical.
Skeptical. All right.
Got my answer.
What?
Got my answer.
Got your answer. Did I hear right? Any other?
Amazed.
Amazed. Okay.
Where's here?
Where's here?
Awoken.
What?
Awoken.
Awoken. Okay.
Present
Present.
in the moment.
Thoughtful.
Thoughtful.
Hopeful. In other words, thinking.
Hopeful. Honest.
Divine.
Divine.
Wow.
Love.
Love. Love.
Trinity.
Trinity?
Slightly worried.
Slightly worried. Okay, how many people might have felt slightly worried? Slightly uncomfortable?
Slightly.
Thank you. It's not really what we're used to thinking about ourselves, is it? I am the light of the world. We know Jesus said that about himself. He said it. I am the light of the world. But he also said, you are the light of the world. To a crowd of people gathered to hear him speak. Now I can imagine being in that audience and hearing that for the first time and going, did he really say that? Ah. He's joking. But he did really say it, apparently, as much as we know of what he really said. It is one of the things that is reported 2 or 3 times in different stories, and those are presumed to be real in some form. And what Matthew wrote down is, to the crowd gathered at the mountain, you are the light of the world. A town built on a hill can't be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others. This statement is another way of saying, as an idea in the mind of God, I am expressing my Godness as an idea in the mind of God. In the mind of, you can replace God with any word you prefer. And sometimes it's useful to replace God with other words because we all have a bunch of thoughts around God. It's a loaded word, God, for most people. You can think about how it's loaded for you. So what's an idea? What's an idea?
A thought.
A thought. Okay, what's a thought?
Energy.
Energy, very good. Let's think about it. I am. You can all say, I am. An idea in the mind-like energy of the universe. Many different ways of saying it. But essentially we're saying, I am energy. I am universal energy. I am divine energy. And there's something very, very important about being willing and ready and used to saying that. Because that is true in the absolute realm. It's true in the energetic realm where every thought already exists. Love is unchanging. Everything is abundant, whole, peaceful. That is where I am the light of the world. In that realm. And that realm is in the present moment, always true. The fact that it's unchanging, that wholeness is unchanging, that peace is unchanging in that divine mind, has a very interesting corollary, a very interesting follow-up thought. What can happen to us as the light of the world in divine wholeness? What risks do we run?
We can't hide.
What?
We can't hide.
We can't hide. And what can happen to us?
You can be arrested.
In the divine realm, I can be arrested?
Sure. Desmond Tutu was.
What?
Desmond Tutu was.
Not within himself.
You're free.
You're free.
You're always free.
Okay.
In yourself. In your knowledge. In your knowing of yourself as divine idea. Divine ideas do not change. Bye?
Another shoe can never drop.
Oh, I love that. That's great. Another shoe. Even one shoe. In the absolute realm, what use do you have for shoes in the absolute realm?
I think it gives others good ideas about everything in life.
Okay? Good ideas about everything in life. So, as embodied beings, we actually have the opportunity to look both ways. We're kind of standing in the middle of something, right? Most of the time we're standing looking at, and I'm using looking as a symbol there. It's not just looking, it's feeling, it's moving, it's hearing, it's sensing, it's all that stuff. What seems real, right? You are sitting on chairs. Is anybody here willing to tell me that chair's not real? Good. I'm glad you're willing to tell me that, because it's real in a physical sense. But if you actually measure it with other instruments, it's a bunch of particles running around. I don't know how you can sit on that. It's when it turns into a solid object or wave. You can't sit on a wave. You can sit on the solidity, just like you can't sit on a walk, on water, most of us. But you can sit on ice. Okay? You with me? There's the divine realm in which we are an idea in the mind of God. We are expressing our Godness, which never changes. It's always loving. It's always peaceful. It's always safe. It's always whole. It's always endless, endlessly abundant. And we can also turn around and look out at the trees, as it were. We can turn around and look at all these real people who are sitting here physically and who have different feelings in different parts of their physical being. That's kind of the part we share less. And where we are at risk and where common sense is useful. In our absolute being, where we are just energy, when our awareness flips to that, nothing can happen to us. We can only be arrested or be punished or be injured or be robbed in the physical. Any of you who have had someone you love either leave your life totally in one way or another, what about the stuff they leave behind? Does it have the same meaning as it did? No. It's just stuff. It's physical stuff. And we are not the physical stuff. Okay? So what I really wanted to talk about today are the reasons why we don't think about our divinity, don't accept that nothing can happen to us as our spirit selves. We all have thoughts that come from experiences. We don't even really think about those thoughts, but we have them anyway. And I've been thinking about this all for the last couple of weeks, actually, or 3 or 4 weeks. A month ago, as many of you know, we got a dog, another dog, because we had put down 2 dogs. And this dog's a rescue. He's not from a pound. He's from the kennel of a show breeder who died. And her kids just wanted to get rid of the dogs. They were throwing them against the wall, trying to kill them. And then the dogs got rescued from that. So here's this one little dog from that kennel who arrived at our house. And boy, have I learned what goes on in dog shows. He's a Lhasa Apso, which means he's one of those long coated breeds. His hair, when we got him, went down to the floor. Every time he went out in the yard, he came back with a whole tree full of leaves and sticks and knots. And my wife, Nancy, spent hours every day trying to comb it all out again. Well, so they had a reason in the kennel for the show dogs, just so they won't get messed up. What they do is they pick them up and they take them where they need to be, whether it's to go into the ring or to eliminate, and they put them down. And the dog does its stuff, and then the person picks it up again and brings it back and puts it back into its kennel. This has been true all this dog's life. He had no clue how to go up a step. And we have spent hours, both Nancy and I, on opposite sides of our dog door. It's a little dog. It's a little dog door. Bending over, looking through the dog door on both sides, whichever side the dog is on, and luring him, holding out treats. Come on, come on. Holding the door, pushing him through. Okay, at first he was terrified. The hole in the wall. Yeah! He's okay now. He's been through this hole several hundred times. Always with one of us looking down into the dog door, opening it up, pushing him through, holding it lower and lower so he encounters the plastic. Now all we have to do is touch it, and he pushes his way through. When anything exciting is going on, our other two dogs go lickety-split right through the dog door. In and out, in and out, in and out. Barking, having a blast, going and greeting people, chasing the dogs in the yard in back of us. And this poor dog doesn't get it, that he can do what he wants. He looks at the dog door and he whines. And then he looks up at us, and then he looks back. No! And then he looks up, and then he looks back, and he scratches the floor. And meanwhile, the other dogs are coming and going out, having a blast. He wants to be with them. It's not that he doesn't want to go through the dog door, but he just can't imagine doing what he wants to do. The thought hasn't occurred to him, oh, I can do that. I wish I could figure out how to help him make that connection. I can't yet. He has a thought that worked very well his whole life as a show dog. I don't need to do anything. I can't do anything. I have no right doing anything. He wants, but he waits. And as I've been watching this and feeling really bad for this poor creature, I'm thinking, you know what? I have these thoughts too. For instance, when someone criticizes me, I have two blocking thoughts that occur, boom, boom. And the first one is, what do you mean? I did that right. And the next one, right afterwards, inevitably is, oh, I never do anything right. I mean, go figure. It's not logical, right? Blocking thoughts are not logical because they always refer back to a previous situation when they made sense in our processing what was true for us in that previous situation, but we keep applying them, just like our dog does. He is now expected, we wish, to take care of himself, to take the responsibility to go outside when he wants to go outside and when he needs to go outside. You know, until we get over this hurdle, we're kind of condemned to carrying him in and out, basically.
What's his name?
That's another talk. His name is Money. It's another talk because nobody is willing to call him Money. He has a collection of names this long and they all rhyme with money. But that's another talk. So poor Money. But like I said, I have these thoughts. I'd be willing to bet most of you have these kinds of thoughts. Left over. Old thinking. We don't even remember them because we don't remember making up our minds and creating that explanation. You know, it's just part of who we are. And whenever we react to something in fear, we feel threatened. We feel limited. Whenever this happens, we are thinking in those old thought patterns, and we are thinking in our physical lives. It takes practice to let those thoughts go and think, I am the light of the world. In the absolute realm, nothing can hurt me. Nothing hurts anybody in the absolute realm, in the level where we are an idea in the mind of the universe. So, you know, I was thinking, well, when else? I got criticized pretty badly 2 or 3 weeks ago, and so that came up. And I had to laugh at the two crazy ideas that followed each other in my mind. Like, okay, none of these make sense. But anytime I turn on the news, I'm kind of in the same situation. I shudder at things, you know, when people are being mean or unjust or just plain crazy. And I am very tempted to feel discouraged and to feel threatened. Where am I thinking when I have those thoughts? What level am I thinking on? Thinking on the physical level. In your program, there's a handout that gives you the unity practice for pivoting, for moving from the physical level into the spiritual level. And I invite you to take it home and use it to practice. Another way in which I find myself thinking in the physical. Most of you, I think, know that my wife Nancy had a terrible car accident. I don't know if it's 5 or 6 months ago now. And she's still working on recovery. And it's very discouraging because it takes a long time. And it also has had a lot of effects in my physical life. I'm driving at least twice as much, if not more, because I'm taking her places. I'm doing errands that we both used to share. I'm now the driver in the family. And I'm participating every day in her therapy, in her speech and cognitive therapy. And she gets discouraged. And so it's been my job to hear her and to hold the absolute vision, to know that we are both whole and perfect in our divine essence, and to share that thought back with her. often. Am I just tempted to be discouraged? Oh yeah. But that's thinking in the physical. And often I remember that, but it's a practice challenge to keep switching, to keep saying about those physical ideas, that idea has no power over me. I've said that before. It's one of the most useful statements I've ever heard about a thought I want to get rid of. That thought, say it, everybody. That thought has no power over me. And then say the thought that does. I am whole. I am perfect. I am perfect.
I am perfect.
I am the light of the world.
I am the light of the world.
We can do it. Imagine all of us doing that more and more, being more and more aware of our godness, of our divinity, of our divine idea-ness. Imagine what that will feel like as we evolve in awareness, encouraging each other, supporting each other in this community. Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate it now, and I look forward to appreciating it more and more. And whenever we think, isn't there more? Isn't there more to life? That's where there's more. Is in evolving our awareness into more and more often thinking and being with others, with ourselves, the light of the world. And so it is.
So it is.